All right, so feedback on my You and the Creator coaching that I have finished yesterday. Oh my goodness, blow my mind. Like seriously, it words can't even begin to describe. It is so incredible. It is so beyond incredible. Now, I personally believe that the coach that you have makes a big difference in the learning, process. But then at the same token, I believe that we are always drawn to the right instructor for us. So I can only speak from my personal experience. That Nianel is my coach. There's a link for her down in the description. Who is amazing, very passionate about what she does, very skilled at what she does. But I always had a belief, and I didn't even always realize it, but I always had a belief that I always draw the best coaches to me. And I really, really do. Because if you looked at any of the other videos, you will see that your beliefs determine your experience of life. So welcome to this video. This is my personal feedback on studying You and the Creator in Theta Healing, the beautiful modality created by Vianna Stibal. And it's just amazing. So if you looked at the other videos, you would see that I first studied basic DNA, and then advanced Theta Healing, digging deeper or dig deeper, and then You and the Creator. So you can go look in the playlist for Theta Healing on my YouTube channel for the other videos. But for those of you that are here the first time, I'd like to welcome you. My name is Adrian Nelson. I am a life transformation guide. I am very passionate about helping people discover their magic and unlock it and develop it and all those type of things. But if you really, really, really have a passion to truly help other people, it is important that you start with yourself. The well can only really give water if the well itself has got water flowing. And what I really, really like about, these Theta Healing courses is that it really so profoundly supports personal development. You really, really get to know yourself. Now, in the modality just before You and the Creator, dig deeper, I will tell you that I've really been triggered. I've really been triggered in that one because I was feeling that I have done so much work on myself, and all of a sudden I realized that I have all these many generational things that were still operational inside of me. And at some point I was just like, oh my goodness, what is the point? And that is what the subconscious mind will do. When you are onto something and you are challenging those core beliefs within you, those core subconscious beliefs, the subconscious is going to tell you, like, this is nonsense. This person doesn't know what they are doing. This person doesn't know what they are talking about. And this might even be if you might say, I would really like to book one of these sessions. Your mind's going to tell, like, oh, come on. Maybe that person is just selling you some fluff, that sort of thing. Or they do this or they do that, and that's the subconscious mind that is trying to reason you out of a good thing. Okay, so pay attention to the distractions and the things and the thoughts that are coming up when you are saying that you want to do something new or different that might be to your benefit. All right. What You and the Creator, interesting experience that I had is that all of a sudden I had all little things to do. So it's a 2-day course. The first day was really fantastic. Really, really loved it. Really, really cool. And as a born intuitive with a very, very strong psychic gift, I have always been rather afraid of my gift, because what I know for a fact and what I've seen is that, you get all these really sort of like, I don't know what you should call them. like market leaders or industry leaders or whatever, like the really big deal psychics, and they do things really, really well, and all of a sudden these people crash and they get problems with their eyes and they get problems with their health and they pick up weight and all sorts of things. And energy is not a small deal. Energy is it's like, if you are really serious about working with energy, I would strongly recommend that you study Theta Healing. You know, you can check out my coach if you want, a link in the description. If she resonates with you, cool. If she doesn't, then there's many other people on the actual Theta Healing platform as well. I think it's thetahealing.com, and in South Africa it's thetahealing.co.za, and that is for an amazing gentleman called Richard Erickson Freese, who actually brought Theta Healing to South Africa. You know, I don't know him personally. I've interacted with him a little bit on sort of like, Facebook posts and stuff like that, but he's a really awesome person. I can tell when somebody's cool. And the thing with Theta Healing is, honestly, I kid you not, this is a modality that brings ascended masters together, that brings soul family together in the coaching, in the practices. If you are drawn to this, something would have brought you to this video. You will feel a call in your life. You might even feel a sense of emptiness, or a sense of longing, or a sense of confusion, or a sense of frustration. So something that I have, and this is so exceptional. So what I have been fully self-employed since July 2019, and today is the first day of Leo season, so it's July the 21st, 2024. Okay, so something that I've had recurring in my business, and so I do a couple of things. I've been a hypnotherapist for 5 years. I've studied NLP. I'm busy studying this really interesting course in neuroscience. I'm very into epigenetics. I've been studying and still studying epigenetics. What else? I've studied numerology. I'm studying astrology. I've been a tarot reader for a number of years now. It's actually what I've been doing the longest. And I've got a couple of courses on that. There's links in the description for that, for my online courses, which I'm very proud of. Because my passion is to serve, and here is something quite amazing. So we have this idea, or rather I had this idea, that if I teach people about abundance, then I personally need to live this really lavish, top billing, over the top abundant life, all the bells and the whistles. Okay, and once I fully reach that, then I am legit in my mind, and then people will be drawn to me because they will see my abundance, so they'll be drawn to me. And it's interesting how your subconscious can fool you, because one of the things that I always share with people, and this is a very good thing to look at, what does abundance mean to me personally? What does financial freedom mean to you or to me personally? Because it's not the same for everyone. The ego will tell you that, oh my goodness, if I do this and that, then everybody's going to want it, and everybody wants from me. But for certain people, abundance means living in a really, gigantic house with like an elevator and, whatever. And for other people, it's just to, I don't know, live in a nice, tiny little house wherever. It is different for everyone, because every soul came here for different things. And so the ego is going to tell you that everybody wants the same thing, but that is just not true. It ain't the truth, So for me, I had that belief that I have to shine first, and then I can help people. But when you just start off with helping people, and your intention is really to help and to serve from a really honest, honorable, legitimate place, then whatever abundance means to you, that's abundant. I am currently living with a very good friend of mine. I'm renting a room in a house, and for me that is amazing abundance, because for the first time in almost a year, I'm not on my own. I don't have to do everything myself. My dog has got other dogs to play with. I get a home cooked meal, and I love my food every single day. I get to eat with other people. I don't sit and eat on my own. I don't watch TV on my own. I don't have to do everything on my own, which is very interesting, because one of the biggest things in my life, which has been so incredibly soul drainingly smash my head against a fucking brick wall type of experience, was, that I do really, really well Like really, I do exceptionally well. And then I just plummet. I don't understand what I'm doing. What have I done wrong? You know? And of course, when you go to these fly by night psychics, and I'm like, can you really help me? I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. Because the thing is, as human beings, we are biased in our very nature. I am exceptionally gifted when it comes to seeing other people's patterns. They don't even need to tell me a lot. I can pick up on your energy. So even when I do like a tarot reading for someone, or like a channeling, or like a pre-recorded thing, I tell people I don't need you to send me any pictures or anything like that. You can give me lots of information, give me no information. I will clearly perceive what's going on. But when it comes to ourselves, you don't get that. All right? But with Theta Healing, it's really, really great because you learn techniques in how to be able to get that, very clearly, not coming from sort of like fluff, basically, you know? And I discovered and this is great because this is what you discover through this coaching. I discovered what I do when I do really, really well, I self-isolate. So I don't see people. The only people I see is my clients. But I don't hang out with nobody, can be very hermit-like. And so I become really, really lonely. And because but when I become lonely, I have a longing for people, And so when I have a longing for people, I draw people to me. So there's such amazing exercises. I can't even go through everything with you, but for example, what do you get from your, what do you get from your loneliness? What do you get from your sort of like losses or your challenges? Why is the mind keeping a certain pattern in place? And I realize what I get from it is love. Because what I get from my losses is love, which is why I create losses. Because when I have losses and I'm in a tight space, I connect with people, amazing people. And when I thought about it, I actually realized, oh my goodness, golly gosh, I have met these incredible, exceptional, profoundly wonderful, beyond wonderful people when I was feeling in this tight space, including my exceptional coach. We really connected when I was in a space where I was like, what am I doing with my life? So I realized that if I just give myself what I need, I don't need to create lack in order to get what I want. And this is what's exceptional about Theta Healing. You learn all these things. What does the ego get from the space that you are in? What is the undercurrent that is happening over there? What is your life trying to maintain in the orchestra that is your life? Why are you getting certain things? Why are things flowing a certain way? What is the reason behind it? What is the reason behind it? And then all the different planes. The spiritual plane. What do those dudes have to say about that? When you think of the fifth plane, there's the deities, your guides, your guardians. What do they have to say about that? When you consult the laws of the universe, what do they have to say about that? When you consult the creator itself, the seventh plane of it, what does the creator have to say about it? So it's really, really amazing because you learn how to really clearly and undisputedly understand when you are speaking to the creator. And you can work with all sorts of deities and everything like that. That's really, really cool. But, as much as I'm obviously interested in things like the Pleiadians and the Atlanteans and all those sort of things and, talking to them and in a sense, it's really just brain candy. Because it's interesting, but the bottom line is you are here now. In this moment. This is where your consciousness is. And what happens a lot, and this is why I'm so passionate about actually helping healers, because a lot of times healers come to this planet and they were ascended masters. And I mean, before, if you had to say to me, Adrian, you're an ascended master, which some people have, I would be like, "Mm." So the ego makes you feel like, no, you should be humble. And it's so easy to become so humble that in itself becomes ego. Ego is sneaky. It's a funky vibe. Um, but then I realized that yes, I am on this planet. I am actually a highly ascended master that came to this planet to support humanity. But along with that, because I also understand how things have gone really hayward sometimes, what I also realized within myself, because sometimes I can be very choppy, I realized that in myself there was this sense of desperation almost, that human beings are not going to get it in time. They're going to run out of time. So I have to help as many people as possible. It doesn't matter whether you pay me, whether you don't pay me, whether it doesn't. I just have to help you. I have to help you to get it. I have to do it now. I have to. You know? And when you realize that, you can shift that. But in order to shift it, you need to first realize it. You need to understand it. Not just understand it, you want to know, where does it come from? Why is your subconscious holding on to it? Because there's a reason for it. It believes it somehow serves you well. So it's going to hold on to it. So why do I have this drive to just help people? Because I feel that they're going to run out of time. But then you come from the space of like, well, okay, you can bend time. And there is something that you learn in Theta Healing. It is amazing when you learn to bend time. That is when you get so much done in so little time. It's like you almost can't believe it. It is just something else. Let me look at some things in the and it's important. I just want to share quite a couple of things with you, throughout this video. I want to share a couple of things with you that you can go and question within yourself. But remember to always do so with love. Things to focus on and how you can live a better experience of life. Okay? So, the first thing to remember is that your attention is really, really important. You want to pay attention to life. You want to pay attention to your actions. You want to pay attention to your intentions, to your motivation, to your inspiration. Are you really coming from light? Are you really coming from truth? And you know what is so incredible about this is that you get to go to work through the layers of your ego. Like, for example, today somebody told me somebody else wouldn't like to come around because the person doesn't feel comfortable with my energy. Now, if this had to be said to me just probably like a month ago, I would have taken horrendous offense to this. But now I realize that, well, maybe my energy is just not in alignment with you. And I'm okay with that. Because first and foremost, I'm okay with being okay with myself. I think it was like a week ago, I may have shared this in a previous video. Somebody sent me a message, and the person, in a very, very nice way though, the person basically implied that I was sort of like, sort of like piggybacking of what they are doing. Now, the previous version of me would have said like, well, what I do has got nothing to do with how you do it. It's so different and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, you know what? No, it's, I can maybe see how you can see that, but that is not the case. And I was okay with that, whether that person believed me or not. And that is the wonderful shift that happens, that takes place with you when you study Theta Healing, or when you begin to actually work with a Theta Healer. And I promise you that obviously it's very beneficial to me because I have been a hypnotherapist for 5 years, but it just shifts everything. And I say to people, you know what, if you have one session, it is so empowering. But if you have like 4, oh my goodness, your life will change. When I look at myself a month ago, not even a full month, but people, I'm telling you, I'm a different person. I am an entirely different person. I am so grateful for everything that happened in my life. Everything. Down to people doing me in, or the perception of it, to losing my apartment and everything in it, to romantic heartbreak and just feeling like I'm such a mistake. There's just so many things, just so many things that has brought me to this moment, even finding myself in a perilous sexual, space where this guy was just doing his thing. I mean, it is just, I'm so grateful. And I'm not trying to say anybody else must feel this way, but when you just see the divinity of it all, the perfection of it all, it is just something else. It is just something else. You are different. I was actually saying to my friend, because as I said, I'm living with my friend at the moment, because I was living in an apartment, but that has been one of my master lessons, honestly, And I said to the Creator, I am not leaving this space until I figure out exactly what brought me, and I'm going to leave it here. All right? And that brought me to Theta Healing. If you've looked at one of my earlier videos, you will remember that I said when I started this journey, I was in full-blown fear. And actually something that I forgot about that I just remembered, I was walking down this road and the Creator came to me directly, and the Creator said to me, have you ever considered that you've got a bigger purpose with your life than what you realize? And no, I didn't. It was for me, for my dog, for my business, that was it. And before, I would get a bit cringy if people had to say to me that, maybe you're here for a bigger purpose. I would have felt very cringy about it. Now I realize it and understand it, and I embrace it with a whole lot of excitement. My coach has she on a Facebook page, she had something the other day which was so amazing. It says that if you spot it, you got it. And so I had this experience happening. I'm not going to go into the details because it's a very I don't like to talk about things that can sort of like negative like other people. But needless to say, so yesterday morning something happened, and I'm telling you, I was triggered. Like I was livid. I think the energy that was coming from me could like spark a flame. And then I said, okay, if you spot it, you got it. And thank goodness I've come to this place where I don't try to talk myself out of it anymore. And it took me a couple of hours, and I worked through it in because you have these wonderful breakout sessions in the coaching. And I realized that, this was an unresolved pattern within myself. Because we are hardly ever angry or offended by the things that we think we're angry about, or offended by those sort of things. And when you can pause and reflect, and sometimes we need some help with that, then it can be amazing, So pay attention. If you want your life to change, you're going to have to be disciplined. So if you're going to have a session with me, or like however you prefer it, a couple of sessions, which is highly recommended because we heal in layers. And a lot of times people have this idea that, well, I must have one per session, everything must change. Are you ready for the change? If you are 45 years old, you have had this pattern for 45 years, and it is more likely than not that it's actually in your generational flow, in your genetics. Like when you look at epigenetics, you're probably born with the pattern, and it may have been in your family lines for years. So even when you look at things like maybe you don't like a certain race of people, or like you prejudice, so to speak, instead of just saying, well, bad person, you might want to see why that is. Because maybe in your pathology, maybe you have been prosecuted by a certain race of people. Maybe you have been brought up with the understanding that they should be feared. So it's not always just racism and, prejudice and those type of things. A lot of times it is genetics. It's in your history. It might be vows in a previous lifetime. It might be vows that our ancestors made. It might be things that have been said. So for example, something in South Africa is, now that I think about it, so I am part of a race that is called colored people. So colored people are basically neither white nor black nor Indian nor any of those things. They're basically a culmination, because South Africa's got a whole lot of races that came together, and then they kind of formed a new race, which is called colored people, which is quite interesting because we have, and I only found this out a couple of months ago, the most sort of like genetic sort of like links basically than sort of like any nation in the world. I don't know if that's a fact, but that's what's been said. I thought that's quite interesting. Got a little part of everything, you're like a real melange. And I think it's great, and maybe that's why I really love people. I love people across the board, and maybe that's why. But there's this thing that's been going on for years that, first the white people oppress the coloreds, and now the black people are oppressing them. Now there's no space for colored people in this world. And if this is something that your parents are saying over and over and over, then there is a belief that you have. If you are, for example, let's say you live in a place like Los Angeles, and maybe you're like Latino, and the idea is that these Americans are just taking advantage of us Latino people, that this isn't really a home for us, and we're just here to be slaves and stuff like that. If those are things that your ancestors have said, your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents have said, then you are born with that belief. It's not your fault. It is what it is. But you've got a choice in whether you let it run your life or not. Okay? So it's about paying attention. And there's a reason why, the powers that be and the media and whatever, they're always trying to monopolize your attention. And even it happens in the spiritual community as well. Oh my goodness, it's Mercury retrograde. Oh my goodness, Schumann's resonance is doing that. Oh my goodness, whatever, there's, what do you call those rays from the sun? Solar flares. And yes, those things affect us. But let me tell you something. When you work directly with the Creator, with all that is, those things don't need to affect you. Those things are going to happen. The universe is alive. It's just a fact. It's like when you have a flea living on your body. The flea can blame you for whatever, don't like the taste of your blood or whatever, because you want some cleanse or whatever the case may be, or medication, whatever. But do you really think the human being cares about what the flea thinks? It's the same thing with the universe. There's that song that goes like, all we are is dust in the wind, dust in the wind, everything is dust in the wind. I close my eyes, only for a moment, and the moment's gone. Sing it with me. All my dreams pass before my eyes in curiosity. Dust in the wind. All we are is dust in the wind. So a couple of questions that you can ask yourself when you have things coming up. Where does this come from? When is the first time that I experienced this? When is the first time that I felt this way? And you can see I make lots of notes. Because when you write things down, you foundation it into your brain, even if you don't go through it again. That's why journaling is so powerful. That's why in Theta Healing, before we do any sort of release from your belief systems, before we download anything from you, from the Creator, you are asked to verbalize your yes, because your yes is powerful in the Theta state. You are highly receptive. That is why you can get fast, instant, lasting relief and release and changes and shifts and all those things. Your life just changes. Boom, boom, boom. How did it make you feel? How did it motivate you? This pain that you're holding on to, what is it giving you? There is a reason why your mind is holding on to it, because it's believing that it's giving you something. So you may be very controlling, for example, and your mind believes that I have to be in control because I'm just making an example here. I have to be in control because if I'm not in control, then, things can go wrong. And if things go wrong, then I can lose everything. And if I lose everything, then I end up alone. And the fear of being alone is the worst fear that human beings have, or being nothing. And so I must maintain control, because if I don't, things can go wrong. So you see, okay, that is why your mind is holding on to it. So what if you can release that belief across all 4 of the different belief levels, and in other videos I speak about the 4 belief levels, core, genetic, history, and soul, and replace it with something better. So you can still be driven, and you can still have success in life, and you can have more success in life, but now it's a joy. You don't have to feel like, oh fuck, what if things fall apart? No need for that anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because fear will drive you, but if fear is driving you, if a sense of lack and loss is driving you, which again, it might be generational. Maybe, let's say your family comes from farming. There was a consistent fear, what if the mosquitoes come and the rain comes and the hail comes and the drought comes and whatever comes and, everything doesn't work out and it doesn't meet the quality standards. Farmers are basically always on high alert and always terrified something can go wrong. So if you spend a significant amount of time with them, even if you were a worker, because energetically you will pick that up, or you're from that family, you'll be aware of their tenseness. So you will say, yes, I had a happy childhood. It was wonderful. We had a farm, we had a house. It was great. I had great education. But then when you go back into the subconscious mind, you may realize that, that the family was always afraid. And maybe, let's say you had a generation of farming or whatever business really. Those fears are inherited and they may drive you. So you say, well, I'm not going to do farming. I'm completely against this. I'm going to go and be a lawyer and I'm not even going to work for the family farm. So you go live in the city. And then you become this very successful person and you're still not feeling successful. And people's like, what are you talking about? You've got everything, you're living everybody's dream. I mean, I promise you, I have multimillionaires who come and sit in front of me and they bawl their eyes out. I don't know what I'm doing. And the question is always, why? And that question is in your subconscious mind. And in Theta, if you can go up to the subconscious mind, and you speak to the subconscious mind through the Creator. You save a lot of time when you speak to the Creator, because the most beautiful guide is going to take you in all amazingly convoluted roads, and they're going to let you know, oh, I was in that lifetime and I picked beautiful flowers and I was a medicine man and I used to look out at the morning and I hear the birds chirping, and it's really great. Nothing wrong with that. But does it really help you? And that is what I am passionate about, really helping people grow. It's wonderful to have a beautiful session that makes you feel amazing. I mean, if you want to feel that way, then you can have you can have a Reiki massage with me. You can have a crystal healing session with me. By all means, there's nothing wrong with us. In the same way, there's nothing wrong with, I've got dreadlocks, having somebody else dread my hair. Nothing, it's cool. But does it really fundamentally establish what my driving force is, why I never feel fulfilled, why I keep on recreating the unfulfilling experience again and again? Is it really helping me get out of the toxic loop, out of the the exhausting loop? Because here's the thing, if you come from a family that have had basically any sort of oppression, which is pretty much everybody, you may have a fear of being prosecuted. So you may have, so let me give you an example of my life. So I'm 42 years old and I still do not have a driver's license, which was the weirdest thing to me. Like, I just couldn't figure it out. I mean, when I was living with my sister, I literally lived 2 roads away from the traffic department. 2 roads away. I could walk there in the space of 12 minutes maybe, on a chill space, listening to music. Life is good, Never went there. Intended to, but never went. When I lived in a different part of Cape Town called Greenpoint more than once, and also Sea Point next to it, traffic department was right there. Same story. Never went. Just never went. And I couldn't figure out why. And this is why it's amazing, because again, I'm great at helping other people, but we're not always that great at helping ourselves. Just I'm very passionate about helping healers. Everybody as well, But because healers work with so many people, a lot of times we take on a lot of people's stuff. And I figured out that, because of a lot of things in my own personal life, there was a sense of responsibility for me from a very young age that I have to be the one that's there for everyone else. So if I have a driver's license, it means that when things are going a certain way, which they currently are, the person that's going to be called upon would be me. But if I can't drive there, then I can't help you. So then I don't have to say no, and I don't have to be the bad guy. I can just say, well, I would love to help you, but I really can't because, I will have to leave my dog with someone, and if I had a car, I could put the dog in the car, but now I can't put him on the bus, I can't put him on the plane. So really, genuinely, I would like to help you, but on a deeper level, there's a resistance that says enough is enough, we're drawing the line here. So we're not always aware of that. It may seem like something so simple, so inconsequential, and it may not even seem like a big deal at all, when there's a part inside of you that says, I am done with this, I've had it. You may be a lot more angry than you may realize. I was surprised during this coaching of how angry I am, and that is why it's so important. And Vianna really, really emphasizes in this book, it is so important for Theta healers, for everybody. Here is the golden advice that she gives you. The golden advice. You gotta laugh. There, I've underlined it. A sense of humor is the best way to cope with the challenges that life has to offer. After all, life just is. It just is. Everything just is. Everything comes and goes. That is one of, that is actually a line that I picked up from my instructor. She says it a lot, and I love it so much. It brings such calm to my mind. Everything just is. Everything just comes and goes. The seasons come and go, the days come and go, the years come and go, events come and go, happiness, sadness, experiences, everything just comes and goes. But the only constant is the Creator. And when you work with the Creator, you build that relationship with the Creator. My people, your life's going to get better. And, I'm so passionate about this because this is what I, do. And also with karma, we've got this idea that you have to remain in karma all the time. But karma is actually a very low vibration here on the third dimension, planet Earth, where we are. So when you can release karma, and the golden key to releasing karma is forgiveness. Forgiveness is your superpower. Forgiveness sets you free. You keep on coming back to this plane because this is where the karma is. But when you clear out the karma through forgiveness, and even, this is quite interesting. I've heard this, but I've also had those experiences before in hypnotherapy, but now I'm even way more equipped to deal with them. It's so amazing. A lot of times we don't want to heal from our diseases. People would come to me and, maybe you would have cancer or something like that. And you're my last hope. You've got to help me. And then when you check them with the subconscious, then you realize this person doesn't want to be healed. First of all, they may have been sick for so long that if they lose the sickness, they're like, well, who am I then? Where's my identity? Or your life might be falling apart and, and then everything that you always wanted, the love and the support and the family and the parent and the partner and the whatever, they are there. But you know that if you get better, they're going to leave. Or, if you get better, you're not going to be on welfare anymore, like on support, like with your insurance, basically. So you're going to have to go back to work, and you may not like that. Maybe you didn't like your work. Maybe that's what made you sick in the first place, So it's very important to look at that. And even through this work, you build virtues. And the more virtues you build, the stronger your body is. Literally. Something else that's very quite interesting is actually a lot of times people have diseases like diabetes and HIV, and those are very young diseases. Because a matured disease, a matured virus basically, it's going to live in harmony with the host. It's going to co-live. So it's going to keep the host alive. Whereas the younger diseases, they're going to kill the host. So when you take medication, because we've got this intricate communication system inside of us. All right, I just pause that, and the dogs are going again, sorry. But, the virus is saying that if you take this medication, you are going to kill me. And then it interacts with your nervous system. It sends a message to the brain. And so then you believe that it's your thoughts, that if I take this medication, it's going to kill me. And that is why a lot of times it wouldn't make sense, for example, I'm just using HIV as an example, because a lot of people have this experience, they can't figure it out. This medication that's going to keep you alive, why people are so apprehensive to taking it or start and stop, is because the virus is communicating with your central nervous system, because we're an intricate communication system. And it says if you take this medication, it's going to kill me. So you believe it's your thoughts, but it's actually the virus that is speaking. And I'm about to start studying intuitive anatomy with Theta Healing, which is exceptions like 15 days, which is even more of that. And I can't even wait to share that with you. Okay? But here's the thing, you need to understand that you are a highly trainable being. Human beings are. If you put the time and discipline into something, you have to change. You just have to. All right, it's like an athlete. If they understand, if they put this kind of time in and this kind of cardio and this kind of whatever and that kind of whatever. I'm obviously not an athlete. I'm an athlete of the mind. That excites me, and like that. Actually, the nervous system, because the mind forms part of it. Why people do what they do, that always fascinated me, and how can I help them to do better? So I've got a true fascination in people, and I've got a real passion for helping people do better. But so I understand if you do this and this and that, then you can get better. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what your zodiac energy is. It doesn't matter what your life path number is. None of those things are important. Because what I actually wanted to say earlier on is that we often have this thing that, with the solar flares and the whatever. Listen, let me tell you, since I started doing Theta Healing, and I'm a Cancerian, the moon signs affect me quite strongly. Then I'm jumpy, then I'm this, then I'm that. I don't buy into those things anymore. Because when you work with the Creator, you are above those laws. You are not better with them. They just don't have to run your life anymore. That is what's amazing. You don't have to be grumpy for no reason and sabotage yourself and get on all these bad loops and stuff like that. You don't have to. And if you heard this today and you're still there and you're still getting it, then it's actually a choice that you are making to be in that space. And you want to ask yourself why. And your brain's going to give you a million reasons. Nope, that dude's just talking fluff. That is your subconscious mind. Okay? Trying to protect the pattern. The more you do something, the better you get at it. Faith is a mindset that you cultivate. That's it. It's like the athlete. They understand they do this and this and that. That is the result. It's very predictable. Okay? Divine timing is something that your soul look forward to come experience here. Divine timing is you living your highest and greatest good in this life. And this is what Theta Healing can help you to do. So if you work with myself, we're now the Theta Healer. Well, I can't really speak for other people, but this is basically the idea behind it all. We can help you to live your greatest life experience, and it can be easy. Okay? What else can I share with you? There's just so much. My people, there is so much. When you understand how the ego speaks, what it says, how it tries to distract you, I must tell you honestly, it is so much more than I have ever imagined. It is amazing. Okay? So if you're interested in more of these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit that all notifications, leave a comment, like the video, share it with someone else. Someone else is going to need to hear this, share it with them. Okay? If you're interested, look at the other videos, book a session. What do you have to lose? But bad beliefs replaced by better beliefs so your life gets better. Think about it. Okay? From my heart, namaste, love and light. I really look forward to connecting with you on the next video.